Hello, everybody. Before we get started with today's episode, I want to take some time to announce the release of my new album entitled Enjoying My Time in Hell, dropping March 20th at midnight. Here's a snippet.
I've seen trials and tribulations, heard vile insinuations from fellows who spend time running miles in simulations, trying to escape the real life in situations. There's no escaping. There's no debating, my ego ain't done deflating, the smaller self so inflated, and that's the reason I'm hated, impatient of simply waiting for dreams I feel like they faded, feeling as if I'm failing. But
If you're looking to find your next show or book your next venue, head to Stutterbox Productions today. These are the guys to contact. They've been doing a lot these last couple weeks, and they got a lot coming in the future. Hit them up on social media, hit them up on Facebook. They are the guys you want to hit up. Stop by and see them today. You're watching / listening to the McAllister Hours. I'm your host, Cole McAllister. The LAS Podcast Network is going broke, and they have given me this studio. So I'm here to regain my territory. I really love it, guys. I really appreciate you giving me this.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We're going to have a lot of fun.
You're welcome. We're so honored to give you the space.
Yeah, for free.
And step out of this. Yeah, exactly.
You just had to hold us at gunpoint. It's all good.
This was a humbling experience to have Cole show up at the door and we're like, oh,
This is mine now.
I guess this is yours now.
No, there was no like booking or talking. You just showed up, and he's like, "We're doing my show."
I'm a
today."
true American. I'm coming and taking shit.
And then he took his shirt off and there was a tattoo that said, "This is mine now." I was like, what is that about? But okay.
It was an intense moment.
I was wondering if he got the tattoo just for that moment or if he uses that in multiple situations. Like if he goes around to other businesses and takes off his shirt to show off his tattoo that says, "This is mine now."
1776 underneath.
It comes in handy, you know.
What? Like the Declaration of Independence?
Yeah, close enough.
What?
It's okay.
Isn't that
Moving on.
1776?
That's what that's the whole thing about like the freedom of 1776. You got it.
I don't get it.
You got it. You get it. Sorry, we completely tangent.
We are
All right, take
hijacking
it. Yeah,
Cole's
sorry about
show.
You know, you're good. Honestly, like it's an honor for me to be here. I truly tune into you guys every week. I love your show.
Dang, thank you.
Dude,
it's really entertaining.
Same. And it's super excited to have you here too because I've been, like I said before we got in here, admiring your hustle from afar. Like it's hard to do one episode of a podcast, 2 episodes of a podcast. It's really hard to do 10 episodes of a podcast, and let alone what episode are you on now? Do you even know?
So I just finished 100.
Which is crazy. And getting the interviews and like doing it, like we're so lucky because we have like Logan here who walks us through everything and does it all like a large majority for us. Basically.
Yeah, we've got a village.
You do it on your own. I know when I was there originally.
Yeah, Molly helps.
Yeah, Molly helped you, which was really cool. But like just watching your videos and seeing the people that you network with and bring in. My favorite was he just does like extreme stuff.
Oh,
like
Jacob the Freak?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It was
He's
just,
the homie.
Yeah, it was just so cool seeing how much you really do get into it, and truly it's clear you love what you do because you've continued it so long in a world where anyone can create a podcast, but very few keep it going. It's awesome seeing someone do that.
Thanks. I appreciate
Absolutely,
that,
dude. Yeah. No, it's entirely impressive. And we see that's the thing is we tried to do a podcast on our own before the LAS Podcast
It's
Network.
so much work.
And we fell off really quick.
Yeah,
we were doing a show called I Can't Stop Talking.
Yeah.
Just based on the fact that a meme page that we made for fun on Facebook ended up blowing up for no reason. We were like, let's just follow this. Let's see what happens with this. And we quickly found that like I'm not sure 7 or 8 episodes in, we're like, where's the growth happening here? What is this show? And then we started looking in the mirror and trying to check out what that show was, and we came up with like an idea of a March Madness fight between cartoons,
which was fun.
It was a fun idea, but the idea was just to have an idea. It wasn't like we need to make this show. It wasn't like there's a need for this show. There's people that need to hear this show. It was just like it's the pandemic. We want to be broadcasting still.
And it was good practice for what we do now, but it made us realize just how hard it is to keep going. And if someone's listening right now
on your own,
that's like, I want to start a podcast. This isn't us being like, don't do it, but it's It's hard. Like,
no,
It's insanity, man. It really is.
And that's the thing is like a lot of people think you can just. It's just like, hey, we have great conversations. We should just record this. And yeah,
Everyone thinks they have good conversations.
and they do, right? Everybody does have great conversations because they have the context of their own conversation.
Yeah.
But you have to bring it into a way that you're not assuming that the audience knows anything, and you're going to have a conversation that anybody can jump into at any point without knowing your history. That's a skill.
Yeah. And to keep it going and just this has become very meta. A podcast about podcasting.
A podcast about podcasting. I mean, that kind of makes sense, right?
That's what this has become.
Sorry.
This
Shout
is the
out-
McAllister's podcast. We just talk about podcasting the
Podcasting.
entire time.
Shout out the LAS
Tutorial
Podcast
podcast.
Network.
Shout out Cole McAllister, baby.
And McAllister and Logan, the producer. Shout out
Shout out
everybody.
Logan. Yeah.
Everybody.
man.
Everyone listening. Hell yeah. Let me ask you guys first. What brought about your move to the LAS Podcast Network?
That guy, Logan. So we've got Logan,
Shout out Logan.
here. Logan, you're on mic, right?
Logan, say hi.
Hi.
Hello.
So Logan had the idea for a podcast network back in, for years now, I think. You've been wanting to do this, correct?
Yeah.
So, and then he came to me in December of 2019 and was like, hey, I want to try this thing. And this is a conversation we've been having. This company's changed 4 times since we started it.
Wow.
You know, when we first launched this thing, it was real estate and marketing and podcasting. And it's quickly shifted, you know, because Logan has his real estate business.
Right.
With Coldwell Banker Hedges.
Yep.
Call him.
Call me.
And we were also working with local businesses like Matthew 25 and some other really great places through Brewing. These are all partnerships that we maintain, but in a very different form. So anyway, we were going to help them with marketing strategy, but it was kind of something that maybe we didn't have the bandwidth for, or some of us weren't qualified to do. I mean, you know, like I don't have a background in marketing or anything like that, or real estate for that matter. And then we noticed, you know, you just kind of follow naturally where these things take you, and it took us naturally to the podcast network, you know, and even that is going through changes right now. That's a conversation we're having. Not to be too transparent, but
Just like, by the way, Jake, letting you know, cutting your show. You're done. You're fired, Jake.
for the
You're
record,
off the air.
absolutely not. Jake's show is awesome.
Yeah.
It's so fun to produce, and your show performs well because you care about it. And
chaos.
not to go on a different. Oh man, see,
Well, it's
go
a
for it,
great
go
way
for
of how it started. Was the reason Historically Inaccurate joined the LAS Podcast Network was because you're like, hey, I want you to meet my friend Logan at this party.
You came to my
And
birthday party.
Your birthday
my
party.
30th.
And I just talked to Logan for like an hour and a half, and Logan was just so kind to listen and chill. And he was like, you know what? We're changing the name because it was called the Jank Podcast. He's like, that needs to change.
It's a terrible name.
And then it became Historically Inaccurate, and it's so much fun. I look
better
forward to it
name.
every week. Yeah, it's a better name. It's chaos. It's history. It's something I love and get to do, and I'm
Right.
so thankful for
So,
it.
but to answer your question, the reason that we are in this is because Logan wanted to start this, asked me to be a part of it. I said yes. And then essentially we had to prove the concept to our community to get other people to join the podcast. So all of our shows pretty much were in our immediate circle.
Okay.
Friends, very close friends to us, or within the realm of people that are actually working on the project. So we had to we started off with 6 shows.
Okay.
We proved the concept, and then we put out a call, and then people in the community were like, hey, I want to start a podcast. I want to start a podcast. I have an idea for a podcast. And then we got up to 17 shows
wow.
on the network, and now we're looking forward and we're like, okay, so which of those proof of concept first 6 shows have served their purpose? And we can now leave those behind and move forward with the community, because everything serves its purpose, I guess. The purpose of those shows was to prove the network. And some of them are sticking around. One Word Stories, Historically Inaccurate, those aren't going anywhere.
They had me scared for a second. I was like, wait, is Historically Accurate really leaving? I was like, wait a
This is the
minute.
episode we
I
tell
was
you
like,
you're
is this
cut.
is this actually happening?
Oh my God, of course not, Jake.
I'm already taking over your studio, and we're telling you, your show's over.
We're actually replacing your show, Jake.
No,
with
okay,
this.
so it's funny because it sounds like Jake's being funny, but this anxiety that he's like showing off is so real right now. It is.
It's like
that's how-
80% joke and 20% like, I'm so scared.
like a part of you is actually like, oh my God, are they going to cancel my show? Yeah, we're going to cancel our most listened to podcast
Yay.
on the network. That's what we're going to do. So no, of course not.
We like
But
to
yeah,
have fun
that's where
here.
it started, and now we're just kind of coasting. Everything's local, you know. It's
Yeah,
all
that's
Cedar
awesome.
Rapids. It really is. And so it's so cool to be on a Des Moines podcast right
Yeah.
now. You know, because obviously we would do we want to expand out. But,
yeah, because as we keep growing in Cedar Rapids, it's awesome to just start spreading through. Obviously, Cedar Rapids will always be the focal point, but just having that reach into other areas is awesome. So, like, getting to just have a little voice in Des Moines for a second here, and it's awesome as hell to just be able to have you come down here. And it's not a terrible drive. It's still
No, it's 2 hours. Yeah,
it's still a drive and a half.
Seriously,
but
it is a privilege.
It's so cool that like.
I'm super excited.
Yeah, to create a community where someone in Des Moines who's been working so hard wants to come down and talk with us and check out the studio, and just like the podcast network as a whole, just throughout Iowa, kind of come together, game recognizing game.
Yeah.
And,
Game recognized game.
Yeah, it's great. I love it.
Well, you guys, I mean, the LAS podcast network as a whole, and you guys, you're all way ahead of the curve. I mean, I mean, maybe I just don't know, but I don't really know of any other networks in Iowa that are doing this. That
was the whole point, right? Is that we're seeing it's that brings me back to I Can't Stop the podcast. I Can't Stop Talking.
Yep.
There was no need for that podcast.
Mm-hmm.
There was no inherent niche somewhere waiting for that show.
Yeah.
The LAS Podcast Network, there was a hole in our community of local audio, by local, for local, that wasn't, you know, we're not a radio station. We're not a news station. You know, we're no KCRG TV 9. We're no Z102.9. We're no K-Hawk, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We're this very niche thing that didn't exist before because we have shows that talk about Dungeons and Dragons. We have shows that talk about marketing. Whereas if you look at the Z102.9s, the K-Hawks, the KCRGs, they've got to cast a wide net. They're the one thing that has dominion over 250,000 people in our area.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're doing that, you have to think, I'm trying to please 250,000 people right now.
Yeah.
So we can't really, but in the podcast network, we can have all these different shows be so niche and they can be so targeted so that then local small businesses like the board game shop down the street can buy advertisement on a Dungeons and Dragons podcast and see return instead of dropping a penny in the well.
Yeah, and just kind of,
you know, hey, all 250,000 people, I'm paying $2,000 for this you know month of ads, and the percentage and the return on that is so slim because you don't know who you're targeting. Whereas on the D&D podcast, 100% of those listeners like games.
What I like about radio, there's a joke. It's like radio is like podcasting, but you bend to our times instead of us bending to yours. And that kind of works in marketing as well when it comes to like radio stations, is they're like, hey, we play pop. Maybe someone who likes your board game store down the road listens to us, so maybe you should advertise.
Right.
But here it's like,
it's more of a gamble.
Yeah.
The turnover rate on podcasts on advertisements is so much higher than radio or anything like that. And it makes sense because it's targeted. You know,
except not my radio station, but my radio station's great. I love you, radio station I work at. Please don't keep it.
Look, and to be clear, I am not bashing radio or TV. They have their
niche that works.
So-called niche as well. Okay,
Jake, your radio station sucks.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, down with B100.
No. Oh, it's not even the station I work at. So
you're not at B100 anymore?
No.
Where'd you go back to?
The exact same building, different
station.
Oh,
the one down here in Cedar Rapids?
No, in Quad Cities.
You're commuting to Quad Cities now?
I'm about to
again.
Yeah.
You're about to what?
Might move up there.
What?
Oh,
and commute down here on Sundays. And do all my stuff here on Sundays.
Oh my God.
That's the move.
Live on the so many things being found live.
That's wild, dude. I didn't know. I didn't know. That's crazy.
Yeah, life is crazy.
What's prompting your move to Cedar Rapids?
It's
to Quad Cities.
Quad Cities.
Because my girlfriend, who I was dating her at the time as well when I came onto your podcast. We've been dating for a while now.
She dragged you into it.
She's graduating from college,
wow, okay.
and she's going to be a nurse. And her whole thing is she's like, I can find a nursing job almost anywhere. What you do is a niche. So she said she was willing to follow me up there if I did decide to go up there, if I'm done waking up at 3 a.m. And then it would be like, we go there, and then I would commute down here on Sundays. My family lives down here on Sundays, so I would just do everything I need to do on Sundays here in Cedar Rapids. Visit friends, do stuff, come do the podcast, go to sleep at my parents' house. You know?
Yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah.
So
Go to sleep at my parents' house.
play with Lego at my parents' house.
Yeah, because
Lego.
it's what, like an hour? Something like that?
Honestly, the drive, especially at 3 a.m, is not bad at all. It's an hour and 6 minutes. Like I make it, on like heavy traffic, it's like an hour and 45 minutes if you're like heavy traffic. But 3 a.m, zoom, I'm there, man. I zip.
Damn, there you go.
By going the legal speed limit.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah, we are all law-abiding citizens here. Yeah.
We are. Exactly.
Except
I've never
me.
broken the law in my life.
Yeah.
I don't do anything against the rules.
Neither do I. We
Yeah,
are all
well.
squares here.
Y'all can speak for yourselves.
Michael McAllister over here is like, I kill people.
I've killed a man, and I've talked about it on this podcast.
That's my side gig. I'm actually a well-trained assassin.
Are you now?
That's how I pay for all my shit. You
I was
know?
wondering what that barcode on the back of your neck was for.
Impressive.
You know?
Jake, I wanted before we start, I want to say, your advice on TikTok has really helped me.
Really?
I've actually had some videos like kind of not like super blow up, but like blow up like way. Like I think I have one with 1,300 likes now,
Nice.
which is
What?
pretty crazy.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Funny enough, it's about a guy. He was in a fucking McDonald's on acid, and the cops like came in, like arrested this like crackhead lady.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that part's sad. Poor crackhead lady. But I'm glad 'cause I remember us talking about TikTok and everything.
Yeah.
And how exciting
Yeah.
it was. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So
I'm glad to hear it.
I want to give you some credit. Thank you for putting that on. I still think TikTok is a garbage app.
But you got it. I remember you got it and you followed me and I was
Yeah.
like, you bitch, I knew you'd get it. I knew you'd get TikTok. It was only a matter of time.
Well,
Cole's like, I only spend 2 hours on this trash app a day.
no, Molly, my girlfriend, she is like obsessed with TikTok.
Yeah.
So she was a big tadpole in that too. Once I hit that, she was like, "You should start doing trends." I'm like, "No."
You should start doing trends. That'll get you those
No.
views. That's what I do. If I'm
gotta
Well,
learn
that's what
dances.
you do. You've
I-
sold your soul.
Oh, I have. I learned my lesson.
Boom.
Like I used to tell Logan and Alex, I'd be like, I'm low on views, I'm trying new things and just talking. And I was like, wait, I'm not using the popular sounds and like moving them in a weird way to make it sort of kind of history. So I sold out and did that. So I'll be like low on views. I'll be like getting 5,000 views a video. And I'm like, "Ah, damn, I'm not hitting my big numbers. So then I'll just do one sellout video and it's like back up to like 30,000 or 100,000 views. And I'm like, I hate myself.
See, but that's kind
I
of
feel so
like
dirty.
That's a good metaphor though, because sometimes you got to do the shit you don't want to do
Yep.
to do the shit you want to do.
Yep.
You know?
So if I want to actually teach people history, I have to go make a John F. Kennedy meme. That's
Right.
what every single one is. It's like nothing's doing well. Joke about John F. Kennedy getting shot. Then you're fine. And then you're fine. Then you're fine for a few weeks.
Actually, that is funny. Those ones always pop up for me.
Yeah, I was like, God damn it, man!
I need another John F. Kennedy joke like I need a hole in the head.
It's literally John F. Kennedy jokes or like Fidel Castro joke, like really mainstream. It's like, gosh, okay, sell out, but that's okay.
It's okay. Yeah, exactly, though. Like, look, this is a hypothetical. This doesn't actually exist. Let's say Adam Levine from Maroon 5 has, like, a small band, and he hates Maroon 5's music. But guess what? Because of that Maroon 5 check, Adam Levine can do whatever the fuck he wants now.
Yeah, I could tell you're nervous to say the F word because you're in the room with me and you probably thought we were on Historically Inaccurate, which is a
Yeah.
PG show.
Guys,
know.
I own the building now. It's
Yeah.
okay. You
Oh,
can say
right.
whatever you want.
That's
He
right,
bought
that's right.
Theater Cedar Rapids.
He didn't even buy it. He just took it.
I just took
They're
it.
they're doing
Like a
kinky
true
boots
American.
right now.
I'm still waiting for him to put his
and
shirt
it's-
back
yeah.
on.
Oh yeah.
Oh, right,
I
this
didn't
is
even
video,
notice.
so we can't, like, actually
Actually,
lie.
someone watching the video is like, he's wearing a white
He's
shirt. right
clearly wearing
Yeah.
a shirt.
Alex, you
Alex.
liar.
Yeah.
Phony.
now. Oh my God, it's all a lie.
Theater of the mind. Okay, that's what it
Oh
all
my
is.
LAS, lying Alex Schulte. I knew it. I knew it.
Oh, you figured it out.
Yeah.
Jake, you were just talking about JFK. I don't think we've actually talked about this on my podcast, and obviously we only have an hour. But like, what are your thoughts on the JFK assassination? You have some wild. I don't know if you've actually really talked about it on your show, so I'm giving you the opportunity.
Okay.
Have we?
I think we've.
Maybe
so-
briefly.
It's always been briefly, and I always try not to be offensive because I don't want anyone to get
don't
mad
have to worry
about my
about that here.
JFK thoughts.
All those Kennedy.
All those Kennedy fans. No, because like I don't want to like. Because I'm someone who's not the biggest fan of conspiracy theories. There's some conspiracy theories I love, but I think some conspiracy theories like give validation
That
to
was so
the
weird.
worst conspiracy theories.
I
What?
looked to Logan when you said conspiracy.
Yeah.
Because I really thought that the historically inaccurate conspiracy
theory song was about to play.
Was going to start.
We talk about conspiracy theories, and
This isn't that show.
usually we kind of crap on conspiracy theories. But the JFK one, if there was one conspiracy theory out there that I genuinely believe, it's that JFK was taken out for suspicious reasons.
So you believe he was affiliated with the mafia, correct?
I believe that he genuinely was like, hey, I want to do something good. And I actually wanted to like, or he was just being petty about the CIA and was like, if you guys don't do what I want to do, I'm going to expose you. And it's just like in a movie where they're like, oh, you're going to expose me? Dead. But I also, so like, I think that could be real, but I also think the mob connections are very real too, because it was such a standard mob thing. The guy who assassinates John F. Kennedy then gets shot by a member by a guy who claims to be a part of the mafia. Yeah. It's like, it kind of, I don't know. There's a lot there
Retaliation.
where I genuinely, if I had to believe in one conspiracy theory, it would be the JFK assassination not being as cut and dry as it was given to
But
the
how
American people.
fun is the JFK assassination
It's a fun
conspiracy
one.
theory?
It's a fun one. Probably not fun for the Kennedys.
No.
But fun for
But like
us.
on a scale of like, 1 to Sasquatch.
We've
One to
rated the JFK
I know, and I'm
assassination.
bringing
It's
it to the
fun.
Paul McAllister show.
What's yours? Which one do you think's real? Like, what do you think happened with the Kennedy thing?
I think whatever you think happened.
Thank you, man.
I don't have
appreciate
enough.
That's true ingenuity, right?
Yeah,
there.
I don't have
It's
enough
original
that.
thought.
No, I don't have enough information on this
Thanks, man.
to have an opinion.
To be honest, I don't either. But so, who do you think shot him? Do you think it was still Harvey Lee Oswald, or do you think it was someone else?
That's the part that I always get the most tripped up on, because like as a kid, I really believed all the stuff where it's like, no one can make that shot. They hired the #1 sniper in the world to take that shot, and he missed. And I like believed it, and then I looked into it, and it's like, actually, it is a difficult shot, but it's not as impossible as certain websites say it was.
Yeah.
So I do think he easily could have just gotten lucky and actually done that shot. I don't believe there's a conspiracy.
Who, Harvey Lee Oswald?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think Oswald did it, but it's interesting.
Well, he was military trained.
Yeah.
So
well,
it's not completely.
yeah, so he was trained by the military, then he actually defected to the USSR, and that's what they used as that. They're like, he was a Russian extremist. That's the part, like, that could be very true, honestly. That's the thing is, like, it could be true, or there could be, like, the CIA, like, my belief is that part's true, and the CIA had, like, knowledge of that, but instead of being like, hey, JFK, we're going to help you, they're like, oh, hey, JFK, you're a dick to us. We're not going to warn you. Good luck, bud. And then he just, bam, dead.
Wow, that's pretty petty.
And then the mafia was happy that they died.
Welcome to America.
But then there were...
Oh, you must have just gotten here.
Yeah, assassinated. Then there was rumors that Oswald, who was off his rocker, was going to claim that the mafia paid him to do it. So to make him not put anything on the mafia whatsoever, because everyone always talked about the Kennedys' connection to the mafia, they're like, just kill him. Just take him out. Who cares? So I think it could have been a combination of just all the right pieces fitting into the perfect puzzle to make it unrecognizable of what the truth is. But I do think Oswald got lucky and just took him out. I think the driver shooting Kennedy is the dumbest conspiracy out there, though. They're like, this one picture definitely shows him holding a gun. And I'm like, no!
If there's like 3 other people in the car. Or
Yeah.
And also, I'm sure he did have a gun.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
probably a
that's a good
Secret
point.
Service
Dude,
guy.
it's
He's in
crazy.
Texas.
And he's in
Yeah,
Texas.
the governor who was in that car in the passenger seat, one of the bullets went through his leg. So it's like, so the driver turned around and was like, don't tell anybody. Shoots you in leg. It's
Ricochet.
like, yeah, it's like, it's,
Off the wall.
The driver was the assassin. Like, I'm willing to believe any JFK assassin. Like, because it's like, you know what? Maybe it is such a weird, crazy story. But anyone who goes, the driver, I'm like, shut up. Shut up! No! I get so mad at that one, but I digress. There's my JFK.
It is impossible to shoot someone and drive at the same time.
Yeah, it's just, geez Louise. We call that a drive-by, Alex.
We do.
Those exist.
Wow. Is it a drive-by, though, if the guy's in the car with you?
Yeah, right? I don't know.
No, that's not a drive-by.
That's...
But that is something the mafia does, right? You get in the seat, and then the guy behind you just brings out the choke wire.
Yeah.
Piano wire. Yep.
The what?
Ooh.
Piano wire.
Piano wire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're breaking my heart.
Is that Godfather?
Yeah. He chokes his brother with a piano wire.
You're breaking my heart. It was a great Godfather.
Yeah.
Wait, can you please? I want to hear it again. I want to hear your best Godfather. Like, you come to me on the day of my daughter's wedding.
Oh, God.
I want to hear that.
You come to me
Sorry, go ahead.
on the day of your daughter's wedding. All right, now you do yours.
Really
Cole.
bad.
Do yours.
You come to me on the day of your daughter's wedding.
So much better.
It sounded like you're doing it through a straw, though.
That's
Mine
how he
sounded
talks,
like
though.
mine was
That's-
like a white guy trying to do it.
I guess I could down a little.
Come to me.
Yours was more threatening.
My daughter's wedding.
Yours is funny.
Mine is funny.
Yours is a goofy
The
time.
key is you gotta let the lips droop,
Yeah. He put cotton balls. Right?
Oh, really?
I think he put cotton balls in his cheeks.
Huh, I didn't know that.
I'm gonna believe you because I don't.
I
have any-
heard
I'm the
that.
video guy and I don't know that. How is
Yeah.
that? How's that possible?
I heard
No
that one
idea.
time. I don't know if it's true. It could be.
I'll
Probably
believe
is.
you.
Jake, I have another question for you.
Yeah!
About
Jake.
Jake. About presidents. So, the idea of a president
Yeah.
is that they're a commander in chief,
Yeah.
which means that anything that the U.S. The idea is, anyways, that anything that the U.S. needs to do, they come to him, and that he makes the decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still believe that the current president has the capability and is actually acting as a commander in chief? And if not, when do you think that changed?
No, and it changed. I don't think it ever was as black and white as we make it, but in the 1980s is when we really started allowing politicians to, rather than represent the people, represent corporations. We really allowed ourselves to, any politician, not just the president, to just sell themselves to corporations. In the 80s, we saw this huge influx of like, if you're a politician, you can get funding from corporations, and it's legal to then be like, I lean with these corporations. So they're definitely, any politician still has power today, but they aren't representing their true beliefs. They're representing who's willing to pay them the highest dollar. And a lot of people will argue, they'll be like, well, how do we fix that? And I think it should be, we should just undo what we did in the 80s where we're like, hey, you can sell out now. Be like, hey, maybe don't sell out to the corporations and represent the people like you used to. And I'm not saying before the 80s was great, because a lot of presidents before the 80s were... I don't think it was ever perfect. It was never perfect, but in the 80s, it just made it worse because America starts booming in the 80s. We're like, yeah, it's going great. Let's make more money for the politicians. And everyone was like, sure, we're doing fine. Because in the 80s, the American family was doing fine, so they're not going to complain. If you're trying to give politicians more money during the Great Depression, everyone's going to complain. But when there's no recession, everything's going great for a second, they're like, and we're going to pay the politicians like 100% times more what they were just making. Everyone's like, sure, I'm doing fine. Like, if they tried to do that now, it gets covered more and everything because we're in a recession.
Well, or it doesn't.
Or it doesn't, because they can all be under the table. And it all dates back to the 80s. Like, in the 80s, it was like, you can do stuff under the table and you won't even get in trouble anymore. It's so crazy. So, no, I think corporations easily run America. And I think that's a pretty bipartisan belief, actually. I think if you ask a Republican or a Democrat, they'll be like, corporations run America, which is crazy. Because then you're like, okay, they agree on that, and then it just completely diverts. It's like, how do we fix that? It's different beliefs.
So is it a political statement to start a company?
No.
It's enter the Fortune 500 status, and then we'll talk. But right now, just starting a company, you're fine. Starting a business.
I want to run the world, so I'm starting a podcast network.
Yeah. How much is the Earth?
How much is the Earth?
Yeah, that's Kanye West. How much does the Earth cost?
What?
I want to buy the Earth.
When does he say that?
On Joe Rogan's podcast.
Oh, it's not a lyric.
I couldn't even listen to that whole thing.
That was crazy.
Have you seen the supercut of every time he says God?
Yeah. I've seen so many.
God.
I haven't seen that.
And then
That's
just ends
awesome.
with him like, there's like 30 seconds of silence. He's like, I just said a prayer. Like, what?
He's on something, man. He's scary.
Dude,
People like defending him still.
Do you
It's like,
think it's real, or do you think it's all
it's real.
Is
publicity
what's
stunt?
real?
His
All the
great-
divorce?
all the
No.
crazy stuff he's doing
I mean-
post-divorce.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I think he's mentally ill.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think it's on purpose.
I think so too. I think it's all real, but it's also keeping him in the
and
conversation.
it happened right after,
Yeah.
with
right
his music
before.
being subpar right now.
Also, his documentary just dropped, so this all
do wanna
happens
watch
before
that.
his doc opened. But I don't think it was
Exactly. It all leads up to this.
But
Look.
but that's the thing is that's what I think.
And the
gives-
release of Donda 2 on that device you got to buy.
No, I know, but I think the thing is Kanye West doesn't pick and choose when he has these moments. Because a way better promotion thing would have been saying he's running for president, but he ran for president during the election. He could have been like, I'm running now. That would have gotten views too. I don't think he times these. I think he actually has like these mentally ill moments.
Oh, yeah.
And then they just happen at perfect times where someone can go, no, he did it on purpose because he's actually a genius. Kanye West plays you again. It's like, no.
Or it's that he has like so many crazy moments, and then the one time he has a crazy moment, and it lands on that day.
Yeah.
Right,
and the thing is, and this isn't to make fun of someone with a mental illness. The problem is Kanye West's mental illness and what he deals with explains what's happening, but it doesn't excuse what he's doing.
Yeah,
His choice to not be on medication, to get any help, is his choice. He has every right not to be on that stuff, but then we have every right to criticize him when he makes outlandish statements because he's not on those things.
Jake, hot take.
Yeah, thank you.
That seems pretty normal to me.
Right, but it's a hot take today because so many people defend Kanye West.
Well, just like that. That's like one of the most thought out.
Thank you.
That was real smart, Jake.
A lot of people defend Kanye West and blame Kim Kardashian. They're like, well, Kim left him to struggle with his own mental illness. It's like he moved away from his family across the country a year ago. He's been putting Kim through mental anguish and like videos and stuff for years. And she left him she left him before all of this. Like he was off his meds when she left him. So like she left him when he decided to stop trying. She didn't leave him while he was still making an effort. When he was making an effort, they were together.
Are you guys on medication?
Yeah.
Yes.
I am too. Man, you feel it though, like
not for mental health. Well, actually, no. I am on Lamictal, which is a slight mood stabilizer, but it doesn't have like any kind of like effect.
I don't remember what mine's called. It's for
I take
anxiety.
a medication for anxiety.
Yeah.
What do you take?
Oh shit! I couldn't even tell you what it's called. Citalopram? I think it's called citalopram. I want to say
mine's like the lowest thing. I think it might start with a B.
Buspirone?
Maybe.
I'm on.
Buspirone fucked me up.
Oh, it doesn't mess me up at all.
Really?
It feels great. I'm like, yeah.
What is that?
It's it's like a Xanax, like it's a benzo.
Got it.
Yeah.
I apologize for jumping in here, but
yeah, you're good.
Alex, we talked about it before. But I think you're on escitalopram.
Yes.
Right? Huh. Yeah.
And it's so hard to say.
Buspirone?
No.
Or
bupropion. Bupropion.
Sounds like a transformer.
I was just gonna say transformer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, that's a transformer.
Bupropion.
Yeah.
But that it's something like exactly like that. But that's my antidepressant. But those are the two like mental health pills I take. And man, on a day where I don't, I feel it. And I guess going cold turkey on something and just stopping is always going to be worse than a few weeks, a few months of your life with getting used to not being reliant on that source of endorphins and serotonin. But yeah, I don't know. When I like miss a day, one of the worst freakouts I've ever had in my life was when I was off my medication for a month and I hadn't gone to therapy for a month.
Oh yeah, that'll do.
So like. I don't know. That's kind of where I'm feeling like Kanye West is at right now. It's like he has now been off of all this shit for X amount of time.
And now he has
while
a fan base.
All this crazy shit is happening.
To back him up when he says crazy stuff. And
exactly.
Threatens. And the thing is he's putting people in danger.
Man.
Yeah, and he's like, he's putting Pete Davidson, who's no saint by any means, but he's like putting him in danger by like making up lies about him. And it's like when you have a fan base of multi-millions of people saying crazy stuff like that, actually has ramifications. If I go out and have like a breakdown and say something,
let's say this is hypothetical. It's me and you.
Yeah. So and I'm like, Alex Schulte hates babies and punches them. 3 people are going to see that tweet and be like, okay, but Kanye West says something like that.
Hates babies and punches them.
Millions of people see that. There's a large portion of those people who are like,
yeah,
oh my God, I bet he does. Kanye West,
fuck up Pete Davidson.
Yeah, let's go hurt him now.
Bricks are thrown through my window.
And like he takes screenshots of texts Kim sent him that
That's
are like,
fucked up.
And he's like,
that's fucked
and he screenshotted
I didn't know that.
Pete Davidson messaged Kanye West man to man. I think it's very a man to man thing to really like talk to someone about it. And he goes, look, man, I'm not trying to take your kids. I hope someday I'll have your approval to see your kids. I'm dating Kim. I'm not trying to step on any toes. And Kanye West screenshotted that, and then in all caps in his caption that he posts to his 14 million followers on Instagram being like, you will never see my kids. You like to touch kids, and like made up pedophile rumors.
Jeez.
And now his fans are coming out and being like, Pete Davidson made his career off of innocent black women. He's a child molester, part of the Jeffrey Epstein. Like, and it's all rumors started by Kanye West that no one was like talking about until Kanye West started these. And he's like, I couldn't imagine. Like,
Yay anon.
I'm scared to talk about it here. If he
You know?
yay anon, iconic. That's good. And I think he gets a lot of fans because he blames it on the leftist media, and it's like nothing he says has to do with leftist media. But he's like, no one's covering my side of the story because it's leftist media. So then you've got right-leaning people who are like, yeah, screw the left. That's fine. That's cool. Yeah, screw the left. But nothing he's saying has to do with the left. He's just mad about Kim leaving him.
Yeah.
And he's like using...
He's conflating it, yeah.
And he's using a way that he knows will connect with people to get their side. He screenshotted someone's like comment that was like, man, this dude's off his meds. He's like, this is racist. And you read that one. So you see the first comment he says, and you're like, okay, I can, a bit of a stretch to say it's racist, but I see why you're saying it.
Yeah.
Here's his next ones. This is racist, homophobic, don't know why it's homophobic, sexist, don't know why it's sexist, and crazy-phobic. I was like, you made that one up.
Wait, why is Kanye care? I thought he was white now.
What?
I don't.
Is that a thing? Did he say that?
No, Kanye West
Because
really.
he's like big Trumpy. And
Yeah.
all that.
And a lot of the time when he talks about people who've been successful in this world, he rarely focuses on fellow black creators. He usually will quote white people.
Yeah.
And it's very obvious that he leans more towards, which is
interesting.
And as a white guy, I know I don't have much room to talk here, obviously, but it's sad to see him put so much praise on like other white creators, and then when someone calls him out for it, he goes, "You're racist." It's kind of like what O.J. Simpson did. O.J. Simpson.
I'm not black, I'm O.J.
Yeah, so O.J. Simpson. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot he said
No,
that.
and O.J. was never fully outward against any black movements, but he never backed a single one. He was like, "I'm not black, I'm O.J." because he knew what his fan base was. More white, and
People who like football.
yeah, totally fine to use that though. Like, know your audience, go for it, man. But then during his murder trial, they spun it and said, these people are trying to put an innocent black man behind bars. They really homed in on how racist America is, and they got a jury that was more African American. So they really started to be like, it's an innocent black man getting blamed for another crime. And it's like, but he's never done that. So then Kanye West is doing the same thing where he's always like, look how I'm hanging out with all these white people. Look how great this is. And then someone calls him out. And he goes, racist. So it's a very...
It's when it's convenient for him.
I'm also scared to say all this because Kanye West is the only famous person that I would imagine that would go through random YouTube videos about himself, find it, and then like send people to kill you. He's the only celebrity that would do that, and there's a chance this could get 50 views, and 49 of them could be Kanye West rewatching it, finding out where I live and killing me.
Jake's just on his laptop and he hears Donda
Yeah,
getting closer
I'm
and closer.
so scared. Oh, High School Dropout just starts playing. I'm like, who's playing that? Oh God,
Donda.
I would have died. Oh yeah,
Donda.
So before we're done here, let's do another another thing that gets us off Kanye West because I don't want to die. Don't put any hashtags about don't let him find me.
So, dude,
I'm so scared.
You're done. I can't do anything.
Or a single one of his fans. I love Kanye West. I actually like his music. I like Kanye West.
I also like his music, for the record.
He's not misogynistic at all. He doesn't use women to get...
Just stop. Just enough. Just cut it out. Just
separate the art from the artist. That's what
I love his music.
That's a hard thing to do, too. That's a whole other conversation. Can you separate the art from the artist?
I think you can.
He also came at Cudi.
Do I still get to go and enjoy Bill Cosby? You know, it like depends on the monstrous act.
that was.
Yeah, that is a.
It is hard. There's no right answer. There's no right answer.
And I think the answer. See, man.
I think morally you can, but I think people are just naturally going to be turned off to Bill Cosby.
Which is fine. Like there is no right answer
because his whole shtick was wholesome family man, and then once he broke whole,
that's a whole other part with it too.
Within that he broke that that fourth wall for I don't know.
Yeah.
We can no longer hold that illusion that he's this wholesome family man because he is
a lot of people do still hold that, and that's why you have so many Bill Cosby defenders is because it's so hard for them to let go of that.
Anybody with that big of stardom is going to have defenders no matter what they do. Trump said it himself. He could walk down Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody in the face.
That's my goal.
Still have voters.
Is to have such a big following.
That's
that
the
I can
point
do
that I
anything.
want to be at too.
Right.
So I can shoot somebody.
You guys, you're climbing that ladder. You'll get there. You'll get there.
Let's shoot each other.
One offensive joke at a time.
Let's shoot each other.
Whoa.
Like, we'll shoot each other, and then our defenders will be like, no, Jake was in the right. No, Cole was in the right. No, I was in the right. And then
Jake's going to point his pistol to the sky and then go down
it's
in
not
infamy.
Alexander Hamilton and Aaron
We'll
Burr.
start a podcast war. The historically inaccurate
Yeah.
versus the McAllister hours.
And then I'll say,
Dude, back-to-back duel. 10
be
paces,
crazy.
turn around.
Do we actually shoot each other?
We could do a Nerf guns.
That'd be cooler. That'd be cool.
That'd be pretty fun.
I want a better Nerf gun.
I want real guns.
Jesus!
I want Jake to die.
How about an airsoft gun?
Joe's like, I'm not joking.
Yeah, I'm holding a Nerf gun. I'm like, here we go, guys. And you just have a real gun, and you're like, just turn around. I'm like,
Never bring a Nerf gun to a
Gunfight.
gunfight. Nerf! What was the Nerf?
it's Nerf or nothing.
It's Nerf or nothing. Jake turns
In
around.
this case, it's nothing, Jake.
Jake turns around with his Nerf gun. It's Nerf or nothing.
Pop, pop, pop.
So let's move on to a little bit more controversial of a topic.
Ooh.
You guys are both podcasters.
Yeah.
Some crazy things have been happening in the podcast world the last couple of weeks. What are your thoughts on the Joe Rogan controversy?
I'll go first.
Both with, I mean, you can do one or neither or whatever, but both with the COVID stuff and the N-word.
Right.
Yeah. I think it's such a hard thing because there's two lines of thought. There are people who disagree with the things he's saying, and then there's people who want him to be completely deplatformed. And I really struggle with this. Is I disagree with a large amount of things that Joe Rogan has said, but to deplatform him seems. I personally don't see like why there's such a huge I understand why people want him to be deplatformed. I'm not devaluing them, but I'm saying like things like The View have existed, and you know what's dangerous is middle-aged women with mimosas. That's scary because you have Whoopi Goldberg come out and just completely say
That's
that
another hot take.
like
Yeah,
so Whoopi
right.
Goldberg comes and says the
Wasn't
Holocaust
about race.
yeah, so she goes, the Holocaust wasn't about race. Whoopi Goldberg isn't Jewish. She picked that last name because her and her mother were convinced that the Jews ruled Hollywood. So they picked that last name. So she's allowed to come back in 2 weeks. But Joe Rogan, who says things, again, that I disagree with, and it is sad that some of the things that I do think don't come from a legitimate source.
What's Whoopi's actual last name?
I don't know what her actual. It's not Goldberg though.
Logan, can you find us Whoopi Goldberg's actual last name?
So
It's not Goldberg?
And Joe Rogan said, and I think it's more on the fault of how many people choose to believe things that aren't backed by research. And the thing is if you deplatform Joe Rogan, the people who choose to believe him or believe that stuff, they'll just find another thing.
Here, 1 second. Logan's got the last name.
Oh,
It's not just the last name; it's the whole name.
Okay.
Her name's not Whoopi?
Correct.
yeah.
Oh,
Correct.
gosh, my whole
It's
life.
not even
Yeah, that
anything
was staging.
close
I think
to
I've heard
Whoopi.
that. Yeah.
Is it like Jen Smith?
It's Karen Elaine Johnson.
Yep.
Whoopi Goldberg's name is not
Yeah.
Karen.
Yeah. So
With
anyway,
a Y.
Karen, what's her middle name?
Elaine
Elaine Johnson.
Johnson.
What? Karen
Yeah,
Elaine
I
Johnson.
told you. What a Karen move. Anyways,
Whoopi
just to
Goldberg.
quickly wrap it up here with my Joe Rogan hot take is also I'm not calling those people crazy. I'm just saying Joe Rogan doesn't only say far-right extremist stuff. I've watched a lot of his stuff. He tries to balance it out. In his effort to make it 50-50 balance, he does bring in uneducated voices that maybe kind of give something a little bit more dangerous. If you deplatform Joe Rogan, those people will now just go to far-right extremists and potentially hear even worse stuff. So those people who listen to Joe Rogan who tries to balance it out, and that does lead to sometimes negative things being said, which I disagree with, at least they are providing somewhat of another voice for the other side from time to time. If you deplatform him, those people aren't just going to be like, Joe Rogan's gone, time to change my ways. They're like, time to find someone worse. So I think the whole deplatform thing, it's not solving any issues. It's just a reason to be so angry.
Jake, I am thoroughly impressed with all of your points today. They are very well thought
Thanks,
out,
Dad.
and I
Thank
appreciate
you.
all of them. For real, dude. I'm like, yeah, this is so well thought out. I haven't thought about that. You pointed it out in a way that I have not thought about before.
Oh, thank you.
And I think that's really cool.
Thank you.
But we need to deplatform Joe Rogan.
Damn.
Right?
Shit,
Right?
I disagree with that.
Okay, so I don't think we need to deplatform him necessarily and just totally
We need
cancel
to
him.
shoot him.
But look, a guy that has the #1 most listened to podcast in the world right now is saying things that are detrimental to our society right now.
In what way?
If you're talking about things that are untrue about COVID, if you're saying things that kind of promote racism, when you have that kind of a platform, it is dangerous to have that. But the point I hadn't thought about is that if you take that platform away, those followers go to something worse.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is if you're deplatforming Joe Rogan, then what? We have to take Fox News down. We have to take so we're just taking down everything that's conservative.
Which then is a very slippery slope because that only pushes things. Because then it makes someone who leans right, who's like middle right, it makes far right extremists almost feel validated in things they say. Because then they go, I knew it. I was saying from the start they were going to take down all of our voices. That doesn't lead to someone like deplatforming doesn't lead to people coming to a realization of their mistake. It only leads them to burrow even deeper into their mistake.
Well, I don't think I think there's a bigger conversation here than just Joe Rogan, right?
Yeah.
It's, yes, Joe Rogan, he should not have said the N-word once, let alone how many times did he say it? You know, this guy, he's surrounded by, like Kanye West, yes people who are saying yes to whatever you say. So he feels like he's in this bubble where he can say whatever the hell he wants and not get in trouble for it. And now it's kind of coming back to bite him in the ass because money's involved. So Spotify has exclusive rights to Joe Rogan, but because they've made that choice, then people like who's the artist that just started the whole movement of taking his music off
Neil
Spotify?
Diamond?
Neil Diamond, thank you. Took his music off the platform. He also has that decision to make. You know, when money's involved, that's when it starts getting complicated with these big corporations. But the bigger conversation here is you know, these conversations need to be had. You know, these conservative versus liberal conversations, you know, and there's somewhere in the middle that is what we would maybe land on. But the overarching thing is that these conversations are not just right. We're not just kind of hovering around the middle together. We are on complete opposite sides of the universe from each other. And so everything that anybody else says is so extreme that nobody listens because it's no.
And that's
I'm
what's
gonna
hard.
shut that down right away. Like a super extreme conservative opinion that people of color shouldn't have the same rights as people as white people. It's like, I'm not even gonna have that conversation with you.
Yeah.
What do you mean? I'm not even gonna give you the time of day. And that's, if we can kind of get the conversation back to the middle, to actual real life, plausible, tangible problems, then these crazy, insane left as well. It happens on both sides.
Let me jump in here real quick. So like there's far left extremists, like it almost goes full circle. There's far left extremists who believe that segregation should be a thing, that white people should stay with white people, black people should stay with black people. And that's a far left belief because they're like, white people ruin it. Then you've got the far right belief where they're like, people of color ruin the white race. So they've come full circle. They're both so extreme. What's sad is that politics is treated so much like sports now that instead of people who are actually on the right and the left who economically share the same idea for America or even same beliefs, borderline beliefs
I'm
that
wearing
aren't
red.
racist.
I'm wearing blue.
But the issue is, so even though we're way closer to each other than the extremists, it's treated so much like sports that we would rather be sharing the same side and same field with those crazy extremists, and we don't even realize it because of how like sports has been treated. It's almost like a cold. It's like you're on my side or you're on their side. It's like,
and there's no in between. It's black and white.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, I strongly
no pun
disagree.
intended.
Yeah, I strongly disagree with all the extremists on my side. It's a smart way for the politicians to make sure there's always a rift.
Yeah. Well, and I think to give Joe Rogan credit, I think he really does try.
And he did apologize. He did apologize.
He did apologize. I think he really does try to get people on the other side. I think the big problem is they don't want to come on his show.
Yeah. And that's an issue. Is the
Liberal
thing is
people don't want to come on his show?
Yeah.
Got it.
Because they don't want it because it's gotten such a bad, and that is an issue on the left side where it's like they have blacklisted Joe Rogan to the point where they're like, if I go on his show,
Joe Logan.
Yes.
Hey, Logan.
They've blacklisted Joe Rogan to the point where someone on the left, they're like, if I go on Joe Rogan, my entire career will be ruined. So then it's only far right people coming onto his show, even though Joe Rogan is like, hey, someone on the left, please come onto my show. In a world, I genuinely believe Joe Rogan's show has the opportunity to make people less extreme if more people on the left would come on and have these conversations. And Joe Rogan, a thing against Joe Rogan is he does sometimes let his bias get through, which has caused this issue. I think if Joe Rogan could be less of a bias.
But
and
that's
bring
human, though. I mean,
yeah. Don't get me wrong. My
sure.
bias is right now clear as day.
Yeah.
I'm just saying if we could allow for more voice, like Joe Rogan
It's
does
just
have
like,
this,
why is Joe Rogan the moderator of these conversations?
because he
don't think-
smartly did it. He got
Yeah.
himself into the position to be that way. He worked hard to do it. He did.
Like,
It wasn't dumb luck. We know
Joe-
how hard it is.
The Rogan podcast.
Well, because he promotes conversations. Like that's the thing that media outlets aren't doing. They're not having having 3-hour conversations. When you see Netflix or not Netflix, when you see CNN and MSNBC and Fox, they're doing these 2-minute long takes.
Yeah.
People are sick of that. They want to hear the entire 3
Right.
hours.
Yeah.
I-
And
see,
Joe
that's
Rogan
great.
provides
That is great.
and he got there.
I just wish it wasn't him.
But it wasn't like it wasn't
know?
dumb luck that got Joe Rogan there. We know how hard podcasting is, so he got there because he is a smart guy. I know as hard as it is to admit, Joe Rogan is a smart guy.
No, I
even
agree.
though
Yeah.
he was on Fear Factor, he's a comedian. It's easy to downplay how smart he is, even though
Comedians are really smart people.
he's had some really bad takes. He's had some
you don't-
very bad takes. Don't get me wrong.
You don't
but
get the position you are without having thought about it a little
Yes,
bit.
so he got there because of his own skill. I'm just sad that the negative stigma has kind of turned it into a far right thing, and I don't think that was Joe Rogan's original intention. I would love it if he was more open about people on the left being allowed to come on and people on the left actually willing to come on and provide that different voice, because there is those young kids that watch that show who aren't far-right extremists. They're not crazy extremists who genuinely want to hear what Joe Rogan has to say. All it takes is one person to swallow their pride on the left to show up and calmly explain things, and that 15-year-old's point of view could slowly change. When I was 15, I was living in Solon, Iowa. I had very Republican right-leaning views. I have Southern Republican relatives that I had in my family that worked on a farm together. And it was through different experiences that brought me much more into the position I am now, which is way less far right. So I think that's what's important, is allowing those voices to come on. And I think Joe Rogan has that opportunity.
The conversation's important.
Yeah.
As
but
long as it's not ridiculous.
as long as it's not only giving a voice to one side,
You know,
and it just
because that's the thing
yeah.
is sometimes I think the voice is given a little bit too much to these really wild
because that sells
extremists.
which stinks, because then it goes all the way back to the bottom dollar, and it stinks because it's like Joe Rogan knows what he's doing to make money, and what's going to
You
make
know?
more money?
I mean, before
far-right
it was
guy or
just like,
left-leaning
hey,
guy?
take these supplements. I'm Joe Rogan, and like that was the hot take from him. It really wasn't. It didn't become a political thing until it seems pretty recently. I mean, I think that show excels when it's Tony Hawk, and we're just talking about stuff like that.
Or Elon Musk smoking weed.
You know, like that's where the Joe Rogan podcast excels to me. I don't think it's the platform for political conversation.
That's a fair take. That's fair.
You know,
Yeah.
I think we need somebody who's a little bit more cognizant of how it's going to be perceived.
They're
when
out
having
there.
conversations
They
like
just
that.
don't have the. They just don't have quite the
Exactly.
the following.
And that's the thing is, it's what people listen to. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean,
Bottom dollar.
we can't decide. Hey, listen to this less interesting podcast that's more factual
Yep.
and a little bit less extreme.
But you know that's what's also great about Joe Rogan is he gives a lot of those people who are doing that opportunity to succeed. You know, I don't know if you're familiar.
Sorry, what
like,
do you mean?
Like have you guys heard of Brett Weinstein, Dark Horse podcast?
No.
He's a big person that talks about COVID and a lot of that. He got to where he was from Joe Rogan. He was in Evergreen. They had a thing where they weren't allowing white people to go to school that day, so that's how he like came to prominence. And like Joe Rogan has been a huge person in like helping his career and like getting information out. Like so, I think like talking about what you're saying, like I think Joe Rogan is a big part. It like ironically, that's
But
where
it'd be awesome if Joe Rogan could be a big part of people on the right and on the left to get success. So I
Well-
think that's where the argument's coming from. Is like
Yeah.
it feels like most of the people coming to prominence through Joe Rogan lean right, and I think a big thing, especially to people watching right now, a big challenge is you're probably, if you lean more right, disagree with me and Alex, or if
Way
you
to
lean
look
more
right at
left,
the camera.
or
Run
you,
for
or if
president
you,
over here.
or if you lean more left, you might disagree with Cole. What's important is realizing is it's okay to disagree with someone and not hate them. You don't have to click off this video and be like, I hate Alex and Jake, or I hate Cole because they disagree with my statement. It's important to hear everybody's voice and
Sure,
understand their
sure.
perspective
But
and
the
where they're coming
conversations
from.
we're having are a little bit more realistic
Yeah.
and less extreme. I mean,
Yeah.
none of us here are saying that segregation should be a thing.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the kind of shit that I'm like, why are we even giving this the time of day?
Yeah, and I don't think Joe Rogan
You know,
doesn't
and
bring
also-
people like
and making up facts
that
about
onto
COVID and you
Yeah.
know getting people to be anti
that. Yeah,
moving forward and anti-vax and it's like they're gonna put a chip in your shoulder.
that one makes me
That kind
so
of shit.
okay.
It's like we just can't be giving that a
But-
platform.
Okay, so let me ask you, well, you kind of
The chip in the shoulder is the dumbest one, though, because that doesn't make any sense with it. People who are sticking magnets to their arm, it's not magnetic.
Right.
You're just greasy. It just sticks to the grease on your arm. Like, even though I disagree with them.
They were like, wipe off your arm and then try it.
Even though I disagree with them, there are people, like, the American government has done tests on, like, innocent African-American people saying, like, I'm going to give you a vaccine, and then actually gave them, like, HIVs to do tests on them. Because the American government sucks and definitely takes advantage of people in poverty. So when someone of color is like, I don't trust the government because our literal ancestor of mine was murdered by them. It's hard for me to be like, I get the COVID shot, gosh dang it. But anyone who goes, yeah, they put a magnet in your arm and you can test it by a magnet, then I'm like, dumb! That part's stupid! But other ones, while I disagree with it, it's hard for me to be able to be like, no, because that's not my experience. I'm a white dude who doesn't live in poverty, and I have that luxury, so who am I to then tell someone of color whose ancestors literally went through that to be like, you're wrong? Because I don't know. Yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of studies, though, on the COVID. Just go back. There's been plenty of studies on the COVID vaccine I don't want to get into the COVID stuff.
Well, I won't ask my next question.
Sorry, I meant, like, there's enough evidence now.
I think Cole was about to ask if we were anti-vax.
No.
I just think that since it is such a time of the internet and stuff, there is enough evidence to prove that the vaccine isn't killing us. I mean, I got the vaccine. I'm not dying yet. But at the same time, I do understand where people are coming from when they're like, I don't trust the American government. Because the American government has done very sketchy, evil things.
So let me ask this kind of on that point. Do you think it's wrong for Joe Rogan to question that?
I don't think questioning anything is wrong.
Absolutely not.
But I think it's important. The reason I'm angry is Joe Rogan's most viral clips are of very anti-vax doctors who probably are making money by being anti-vax.
Dr. Malone?
That's the thing. I don't think
people
we can
who have
deny
agendas.
Science.
Yeah, what makes me mad is everyone's like, well, people who are pushing the vaccines have an agenda. And it's like, yeah, but the people who are also pushing the anti-vaccine, if you go look at their stuff, are promoting supplements to fight it. So they're also have an agenda.
But look,
so I think it's important to have both voices on there.
Who never ended up getting vaccinated, and then he ended up getting hospitalized, and he's been on a ventilator, and now he's on oxygen.
Yeah, but that's anecdotal. I mean, you could do that anytime with anything.
But and then all my other friends who have had COVID, who were vaccinated, have not dealt with that bad.
Yeah, I got COVID. I'm not vaxxed, and I was fine,
really?
You know? Yeah,
See, it happens different.
It was like a day, 2 days, and that was fine.
But it's different for everyone. You're a young dude who doesn't have.
And that's my point. Like, the thing that pisses me off, pisses me off about the mandates is like it's a one size fits all approach. I don't agree with that.
Would you ever get vaccinated?
I would get vaccinated if I trusted the efficacy. I knew it was safe and it didn't involve mRNA.
In what time period would you finally see that it isn't like sketchy or killing people or
here's the next question. Like we're preaching that Joe Rogan's not the right one for this platform. Are we the right ones to be having this conversation?
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, I'm just asking. I'm not saying which one's right. I'm just asking like a point of view of someone because I haven't met very well.
Because I'm no expert on any of this.
I guess a lot of my family members.
So I'm sorry. What was your?
Is there ever a time then you think that? Because I mean, it's been approved by everyone. Because a lot of people are like, I'm gonna wait for the FDA to approve it, and then when the FDA approved it, they're like, I still don't trust it. What is there a moment where you'll be like, now I do?
So I think if the current administration were to very obviously step down, and we had like all the bad incentives, if those were gone, I would consider it. I would also consider it if they did not involve mRNA technology, because we just can't know what that's going to do in 10, 20 years. We can't.
Do you think more people would have trusted it if the Biden administration would have been more open to admitting how big of a role the Trump administration played in getting the vaccine started? Because a big thing that I'm mad about the Biden administration is they were like, we did it. We got the vaccine. Even though Trump's administration is the one who started the vaccine idea. And I think if the Biden administration would have admitted that the Trump administration played a larger role, more people on the right would have been willing to get the vaccine. Because like, if Donald Trump started it, I trust it more.
It's actually interesting. Donald Trump recently got booed at a rally because he was promoting vax.
Because Donald Trump is pro-vax.
Yep.
So
now,
yeah.
So I mean, I guess to wrap it up,
we ended on a very serious note there.
We got one more thing. Don't worry.
We started with jokes and then it got serious.
But yeah,
kind of like the Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, that's. I don't like to say I'm the Joe Rogan of Iowa, but I want to try. I want to at least get there.
You got to shave your head.
Well,
It's not
I'm
a joke. Shave
I'm
your
planning on shaving it before we start the. We're going to be starting March 12th. We're going to be doing the first live stream of the new season. So
hell
Shave your head.
yes.
Shave your head.
yeah,
Shave
might even do
your
a
head.
mohawk. We'll see.
Do a mohawk.
Dude,
do a mohawk
do
first.
it. With this crazy curls, you can do whatever the heck you want, man.
Do a
Fuck yeah.
mohawk
You can do
first.
whatever you want. It'd look good.
Do a mohawk first.
Cool.
All right. What was the final thing?
Oh, I just wanted to say, yeah, I think nuance and questioning things in context, these things are all really important. I think a lot of people that criticize Joe Rogan don't think about that. Even with the N-word. Like, I'm not saying he should have done it, especially the joke with, like, the Africans in the theater of the zoo or whatever. Like, that was bad. But, I mean, even in that case, he was saying it in context. He wasn't calling a black person the N-word. He was just saying, this is the word.
But it's very easy for us three white guys to say that. You know what I mean? Like, and I know that's like a very no. What I'm saying is,
I have a hard time saying that personally.
no.
Are you saying the same thing right now?
No. I'm saying it's very easy for us as three white guys to say,
Oh,
or
to
as you
say-
as a white
talk
guy
about
to
this.
talk
Oh.
about
Yeah,
it, and
not
be
say
like-
the N-word.
Yeah.
It's-
It's easy for us as white guys to give our opinions on it, but that's because it's not. It means it will always mean something different to us because it's a completely different thing. And I know that's like, ooh, leftists saying white people. Like, I'm just saying it's very easy for us to make our judgment on it, but it's a completely different experience, something that we'll never have. So it's important to understand why people would be offended by that because of
That's fair. I agree with that definitely.
lit.
Cool.
I was channeling my inner who's the one guy who they're turning the frogs gay.
Oh,
Who's he?
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones,
Jones, man.
He goes, ooh, the leftists. So that's what I was quoting there.
Ugh.
Global elites are taking over.
Buy my supplements as well. Everyone's got supplements.
My favorite thing was
the freaking
the
frog.
before and after pictures of him.
Yeah, what is he up
After
to
the supplements.
now?
Well, do you remember the before
Oh.
and after pictures of him with his shirt off after using
Yes!
supplements? And
Yeah.
the second one was just him sucking it in.
Iconic.
Like, it was like so great.
Iconic.
Good old Alex.
Yeah, good old Alex Jones.
We're getting close on time.
Yes.
We have one thing.
What are we?
We do something here at the McAllis Hours called the Fucked Up Bucket.
What?
The fucked up
The
bucket.
Fucked Up Bucket.
What does that mean?
We have a series
The
of...
bucked up fuck it.
We have
I'm
a
gonna
s-
just draw something without you explaining it.
Sure. We
Oh, I
have
wanna
things
wait.
on... We have things on cards. Go for it.
What?
Wait, so we're
What
not
does
gonna...
this mean? What am I reading?
He was just explaining it.
Yeah, explain it. Why did I draw this?
So how the Fucked Up Bucket works is there are things on these papers that I ask you to read. If you don't want to read them, that's fine. I'm not going to make you, but I'm just going to read it. So you might as well just read it.
Okay.
Okay.
Adopting a litter of puppies for the pure.
You can do it.
No, what's the word?
You want me to help you?
What's this word? It's written. Is it an H?
Sake.
Sake. It looked like an H. I was really confused. Adopting a litter of puppies for the pure sake of creating an army of sex slaves.
What?
That's what my card says. What does your card say?
My card says the Holocaust wasn't about race.
Wait, really? Is that actually what it says? Are you Whoopi Goldberg?
What?
Is that actually what it? Did
Why?
you? Oh, I
You
ripped
ripped
it.
it.
You like?
Why did it?
Oh my God! Yours actually says that.
Yeah. What? Okay. For any you cannot take that clip and post it everywhere of me saying that now.
Yours is way worse
Context. Why did I have to say that?
than mine. These are all just bad things to
Why
say.
did I have to say that?
It's like Cards Against Humanity.
I did not like saying that.
I said it earlier in the podcast. Actually,
worked.
like if someone
It worked.
Yeah, you're like, I've
Dude,
got my blackmail.
No,
so it's
dude,
just a blackmail thing for Cole to have on us.
Somebody could clip both of us because I was quoting Whoopi Goldberg when I said it, and you just said it, and we could go. Don't keep reading them.
I'm not going to read it out loud. Oh, see, why didn't I get Coleman can't remember his girlfriend's birthday? That would have been so much better to get.
Is that an inside joke?
No, for a long time I could not remember her birthday.
What does yours say?
It was made clear to everybody when Joe Rogan had used up all of his N-word passes.
Why are these so relevant? There's a big bowl
That
of
actually,
stuff.
those two, I'm actually surprised that those two were. No, don't throw it in. Don't
We just
Oh, right.
both
It's
got.
gotta go forever.
We just both got two relevant things to what we talked about.
Oh, man. I thought you
It's an
brought
anomaly.
snacks.
Anomaly.
I was so excited for that. I was like, oh, Cole brought cookies.
That was That is an interesting twist on a show.
Whipping
Get
out
your
the
guest
Tupperware.
to say something
Some fucked up
inappropriate.
That was
shit.
some fucked up shit.
Yours was the worst.
Mine was the worst. I
You also
hated
got
saying
some
that.
pretty light ones, so you should.
We got light one.
That was a light one? The Whoopi Goldberg thing that I said?
Yeah, I think the funniest one I remember that we just drew was the ever growing stench of dead babies under Joe Biden's desk.
Jeez, I don't think Alex would have read that one.
The sad thing is I would have.
You would have. I feel like you would have read anything.
I
You were
would have.
like,
I was gonna. I would have read
he's
anything.
a performer.
I
Yeah,
would've
mine
read-
wasn't bad at all.
I was committed.
Mine
I
was easy.
committed.
What a nice thing to end on. And what do we do now?
Bye.
yeah.
Oh.
Bye. Goodbye. Podcast over.
Did you guys have anything you want to mention before we wrap up here?
Check out Historically Inaccurate
Check out One Word Stories.
and on the
Socials?
both on LAS Podcast Network. Look up Jake Truemper and it shows up. Truemper.
Yeah, at Alex Jose Schulte on all platforms.
His
Jose's
name's
my
also
middle name.
Jake Trumper.
That's not
If you
true.
look it up,
Yeah,
you'll find
listen. Check out the One Word Stories podcast. We take one word and let it inspire the stories we tell. It's all local, really taking some cool people and finding out how they became who they are. Jake's show, Historically Inaccurate. As you can see, Jake really does know his stuff when it comes to history.
History.
And that's a podcast with both of us, and I don't know anything about history, so I am the Historically
time.
Inaccurate one on that show, and Jake leads us through it. So we'd love it if you check those shows out because
yeah.
it's a lot of fun, and we've been, and actually we've got a lot of other cool shows on the LAS Podcast Network too that would definitely be worth your time. So go to laspodcastnetwork.com to check out all of our different shows, and you can find out how to get involved.
Bing bong.
Also, check out Historically Inaccurate's annual cross burning every Sunday night.
No. Cole.
I swear to God,
Did we get canceled? Are we canceled?
That's the point.
Cole
That's the
came here
only
to
reason I
That
came
he
here.
came here to get us canceled.
the tattoo said it.
It did. It warned us.
I'm here to cancel you.
It
Hey,
warned-
this is a dog-eat-dog world, man. Our podcasts are too big.
He's bringing
Can't be in the
us-
same state.
bringing
Not
us
enough room.
down from inside.
Not enough room in this world for the two of us.
Not enough.
Jake, Alex, you guys have been great sports.
Cole, thanks for having us on, man. This has been awesome.
Yeah, thank you for hosting me.
Yeah.
Like I said, I listen to you guys every week, and it's really cool to be here and see where the magic happens. So,
Dude, seriously, you're welcome back anytime. It's so good to have a conversation with you, and yeah, we're kindred spirits. We're doing the same thing, and we're trying to do the same thing here. So,
Awesome.
I
appreciate it.
We gotta stay in touch and keep helping each other out.
yeah, I hope we can, continue to combo and help each other out in the future.
No,
so.
this partnership will
Die.
go into the into the future.
Oh, go into the future.
Oh, I mean die. No,
Dead.
no,
Dead
this
after
has been awesome.
moment.
This has been awesome.
Well, that was fun. No.
You're the shit, dude. Thanks
All
a
right.
lot.
Thank you. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.